Have you ever hosted a dinner party and you wanted to create a dessert that would just wow your guests? One of those desserts that you can do is a creme brulee. A creme brulee is so easy to make, and it looks like you just whipped it up in the kitchen, and you don't even have to tell your guests that it was real easy to do. So today we're going to make a creme brulee using the JB Chef kitchen torch. We are going to make the custard, we're going to chill it, then we're going to torch a thin layer of crispy sugar on there that when you tap that with your spoon, the sugar cracks and the custard is nice and creamy, and it is absolutely fantastic. So join me as we make creme brulee. One part of making a creme brulee is you have to have ramekins and you have to have a kitchen torch. The nice people at JB Chef sent me this kitchen torch. We just did an unboxing and we tried it out, and this thing is cute and it is fun. And all you do is hit this button. There it goes, right? This thing is so much fun and it's so versatile. So if you want to take a look at this JB Chef Culinary Torch, I'll put a link down in the description. I'll also put a link to our unboxing. So let's start making the custard. Okay, I have a saucepan over low to medium heat. In here, I'm going to put 12 ounces of heavy cream. We're just going to heat this. We want this cream to be hot. You just want to make sure that you don't overheat it, right? So that was 12 ounces or 350 milliliters of heavy cream. In this bowl, I have 3 egg yolks. And one of the things is I have oval ramekins that I want about 3 ounces of custard in there. If you're using the bigger white ramekins that are maybe 5 ounces, you might want to just double this recipe. But my ramekins hold about 3 ounces. So in here I have 3 egg yolks. I also have 1.5 ounces of sugar. I'm also going to use about 1/4 teaspoon of salt. This is 1.25 milliliters if you're using metrics. And we're going to go ahead and give this a stir. It's good already. So when our cream is hot, what we're going to do is we're going to pour it into this, and we're going to continue to whisk it so we don't scramble the eggs, because hot liquid into these eggs will scramble it. So we'll put a little bit in and we'll stir it, and that is called tempering it. It's to bring the heat of the egg yolks up slowly so we don't cook it, but we're also going to strain it as well to make sure we don't have any cooked egg particles. So as soon as this cream comes up to temp, we will temper our eggs. Okay, I'm just going to put a quick towel on here so my bowl doesn't roll all over the place. So you don't want to just dump your cream in because you're going to cook your egg. So since I'm right-handed, I'm going to put my cream in this way. You just want to put a little bit of cream like that and whisk, 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 whisk because you don't want to make scrambled eggs. And this is going to slowly heat up your eggs. And then you can just start slowly adding it continuously. Ooh. It's hot cream. Hot cream. Yum. So this is going to be our custard. And we're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, give or take, which is 2.5 milliliters. And we're going to stir this baby up. Now we're going to get a sieve and we're going to strain this. So I put my little teapot over here filled with water. We're going to be using that as a water bath in the oven. So I've got a Pyrex bowl here. You want something with a spout So when we go to fill the ramekins, it's easier to pour it in there. We have a strainer here. We're just going to pour our custard in through here, just because you want to make sure if you have any egg in here that's scrambled, that you don't get any of those pieces in here. Woohoo. I have my oven on at 325. Preheating, and now it's time to set up our ramekins. Time to make our ramekins. So what I have here is I have my water boiling. I have a roasting pan. These are my little ramekins. I'm using oval ramekins. These are from Fortessa. I'll put a link down in the description to some round ones and to some oval ones. I'll also put a link in the description for all my fun toys. This is my all-clad tea kettle. I got this during one of our Williams-Sonoma outlet hauls. This is also an all-clad roaster. So classically, when you made a creme brulee, we're going to do a water bath, and that's pretty much what just means we're going to put our ramekins in here with the custard, and we're going to fill them halfway up the custard to with the hot water. This is going to create a gentle bath for it to cook in. If we put them directly in the oven, the custard is just going to burn and overcook. Classically, people put a towel in here. They put a tea towel in here, put their ramekins on top of it, and then fill it up with the water. And I always have this thing like, wow, is the towel going to catch on fire in the oven? Because it's going to be in there for about 20-25 minutes. So I have this silicone oven mat. And what's great about this is a little larger than your typical like oven mat. I have some that are silicone that are just square. I like to use this when I'm air frying, because when I pull the air fryer thing out, the basket, I can put the basket on here and it's larger than a typical oven mat. This works perfectly inside my roasting pan. I'll put a link in the description to this, but I bought this on Amazon and I absolutely love it. So what we're going to do is, here's our little rammies, right? And I have 6 of them. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to fill our little rammies with our custard. And I'm just going to fill them like halfway full. Woo. Just be careful. This is one reason I put this in a Pyrex, because it just makes it very easy and portable. See how easy this is? And your guests are going to be like, what? You know how to cook, right? Perfection. So that filled up my ramekins. If you have larger ramekins, you might have to make this a multiple batch thing. So we're going to put our ramekins right in here. And this roasting pan, it actually fits in here at an angle. Yay. Isn't that so cute? I love it. We got those going. And we got these going. Just want to make sure they're level. Move them a little bit. Adjust them so they're not like touching. Okay, so here is our teapot, and we're just going to, one of the things when you fill this is make sure you don't get the hot water into one of these little custards. So we're just going to fill this up. Now we're going to put this in the oven at 325. With this size ramekin, these takes about 20 minutes. What you want is, when I can tell they're done, you want them just set. So what I do is I shake the rack slightly, and you'll see as it cooks, when you shake the rack, it'll be liquidy, liquidy. And you shake the rack as you go along. Start shaking the rack a little bit, about 15 minutes. It really is going to depend on your oven and the size of the ramekins. For me, when I go back in at about 20 minutes and I shake the rack, there's no more jiggly in there. So that's when I know that the custard is set. So we'll bring you back when these are done. So these cooked until they were set. You don't want to overcook them. What I do, like I said, is I just jiggle the rack a little bit to make sure they're totally set. So you'll see that when you jiggle it, they'll be really liquidy. And as they start to set, they'll firm up. So what you want to do is we took them out of the water bath. We put them on this rack. You want them to cool to room temperature. Then we're going to put them in the refrigerator, and you want to cool them until they're totally chilled. So we're going to do that. And when we come back, we're going to do the brulee. We're going to use sugar, and we are going to caramelize them using the torch. Okay, guys, it's time. Why do I like to do that? Okay, so we have our creme brulee. They're totally chilled. They've been in the refrigerator for at least an hour. You want to get all that heat off them. You want them nice and chilled. We have some sugar here. I sifted the sugar because it's kind of humid and there were some lumps in it. You can use brown sugar in this. If you do, take your brown sugar, put it out on a sheet pan, parchment lined sheet pan, put it in a low oven and dry it out, because the brown sugar has moisture to it, but you want it to be dry. So put it on a sheet pan, dry it out in the oven. We're just going to use some regular white sugar. So some of the keys to this is we need to get a decent covering of sugar. You don't want too little, because then you're not cooking the sugar, you're just cooking the top of the custard. You don't want too much, because then it doesn't cook all the way through. You don't have totally melted sugar on there, and plus it's just a little too sweet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my sifted sugar, and I'm just going to put a fair amount in each of these. And this custard is set up and nice and cool, so just don't stick your finger in it. I already put a little bit into that. And let's see what we got here. So I'm just gonna spread it out a little bit, and we'll gauge whether or not we need more. That looks pretty good to me. Just want it even. You don't want it like too thick on one side, not on the other, because it's going to take a lot more browning to get the other side brown. And you want a relatively even brown. You're not going to get a total even brown. You might have darker spots and lighter spots, but that's like just the charm of creme brulee. And what this sugar does, we're going to be caramelizing it, partially burning it, not burning it, but partially. And then it cools pretty fast and it gets a crunch to it. So when you take your spoon to it and you knock that sucker, the sugar will crunch and you'll have the nice, smooth custard underneath. So, torch up. And we're going to do a single pass on each one of these. We want to start getting that bubbling going, but we want to try to get it fairly even as we can. So I'm going to hold the torch up a little higher. You don't want it like putting it down in there, because you're just going to burn it. So well, let me make sure this is on like a medium. Let me move these away so I'm bruleeing the one I think I'm bruleeing, right? And see how that sugar slowly caramelizes. This first path through, we just want to get a little bubbling going. We got it nice and even like that. So we're going to stop with that one. Let me move this one out of the way because it's a little on the toasty side. And let's rock and roll. I've done this where I've like totally burnt one side and didn't cook the other. So just keep your torch back, keep it moving. So you get a nice even brown like that. Ooh. So for the first pass, we want to just get a little bit of that bubbling going like that. See how that is? One of the reasons you want to do too is you want to start that caramelization process going. It's going to melt some stuff underneath because if you just keep going with it, it'll just be burnt. Keep it up and keep it moving. That's good. And let me finish up the first pass on these. And we're now going to do pass 2. One great thing about this torch is you can, when you hit the safety button, you hit the button and you just hit continuous, it'll just stay on. So we're gonna finish these off. Caramelize the rest of this sugar. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, so watch, this is the whole thing with creme brulee. You have a hard candy shell, right? So when you bite into it, you get you crack that candy shell and you pull it up here and you have the nice, tender, creamy custard and you have the candy topping. Wow. So you get that crack, bam, right? Fabulous. Eric's going to have to come take a bite of this because I'm allergic to dairy. So my opinion of the torch, this torch is fantastic. It's easy to fill, it's easy to use. There's actually a continuous setting on here, so you don't have to sit here and hold this if you're doing a lot of creme brulee. This thing is fabulous. It's the JB Chef Kitchen Torch. Great for creme brulee, but great for a lot of different things. We're going to be using this. I'm going to work on a lemon meringue pie, so stay tuned for that. But so Eric's going to come take a taste test.
To earn my 2 thumbs up, it has to be tasty. Crunchy top, not too sweet. Custard, also not too sweet. Nice and vanilla-y tasting.
You like it, boo?
Creamy, tasty. So this tastes really good. The recipe I think tastes really good. It's not too sweet for those people that are worried about being too sweet. It does taste vanilla-like, so that's really good. It's really creamy, and it did have the hard, crunchy top, which is what we always look for. And the color is pretty good, and the custard really turned out great. So I think it's a really easy recipe to make. If you're worried about how to make custards and stuff, this one turned out really good. So I give it 2 thumbs up.
So my ramekins are only like 3 ounces. If you have larger ramekins, like 5-6 ounce ramekins, you will have a thicker custard. And but You know, I kind of like it with a lot of sugary top to it, but you can do this just by doubling the recipe if you're using a round 5-inch ramekin or you like more custard. But thumbs up to the kitchen torch. It's really great. I'll put a link down in the description if you want to take a look at it. If you like this video, please subscribe below and give me a comment and a like, and visit my website at amylearnstocook.com. I'm also on Twitter, Pinterest, and Facebook at Amy Learns to Cook. And we have a really nice Facebook page going on. So click the link and join it, and come on and join the discussion. I'm also on Instagram at Cooking with Amy.
Amy's so nice, she's gonna give me a refill. Oh, barkeep.